Hello, I'm Kirak Kim. Today I present our research designing a VR music game for stress reduction. This study was conducted with Hyojin Kim, Youjin Choi, Juhan Nam, and Jeongmi Lee. Many people experience daily stress, and managing it effectively is crucial before it accumulates. VR and music can serve as a powerful tool for stress reduction. There are previous studies which combined VR and music therapy, but most focused on receptive music therapy, where users passively listen without any active tasks. Moreover, there has been no attempt to enhance user engagement through gamification in VR music therapy. We propose a design for effective VR gamified active music therapy, and we compare the effectiveness of VR active music therapy and gamified therapy with the widely practiced receptive therapy. These are our hypotheses. VR active music therapy and VR gamified active music therapy will effectively reduce stress and be more effective than receptive music therapy. For our study, we implemented and compared three types of VR music therapy. For the music therapy, the 4 2-minute compositions were composed by a pianist during the design process, following a receptive music therapy guidelines. The key features include a tempo of 60 BPM, soft volume, long phrases, consistent dynamics, and repetitive, predictable patterns. These are music we used in our study. Each therapy session includes all 4 compositions, resulting in a total duration of approximately 9 minutes. For the visual elements, we use low poly models to avoid the uncanny valley effect and create cozy, comfortable environment. VR receptive music therapy follows the traditional approach studied in VR music therapy researches, where users listen to calm music in a serene virtual environment with no active task or user avatar. Here is a recorded video of the therapy session. In VR active music therapy, users interact by listening to rhythms over the background music and mimicking them by striking, though no gaming elements like scoring are incorporated. Here is the recorded video of the active therapy. For VR gamified active music therapy, we incorporated game elements into the VR active music therapy design based on self-determination theory. SDT is a theory for understanding human motivation and is widely applied in gamification design to enhance user engagement by fostering intrinsic motivation. The table below describes the 3 basic psychological needs in SDT, which are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. We implemented 5 game elements: narrative, avatar, points, progress, and ranking based on the SDT for the VR gamified active music therapy. To successfully apply gamification, we incorporated a participatory design process. We conducted a pilot study with 5 participants, which showed no significant stress reduction. Based on participant feedback, we identified key areas for improvement, including interaction design, leaderboard-induced stress, and the complexity of rhythms. For the final design, we made several improvements to enhance user experience. First, haptic feedback on the controllers was added to help users recognize correct hits, and the scoring window was extended to 300 milliseconds for an easier gameplay experience. The ranking system was redesigned to show the user's position out of the total players instead of a leaderboard. Additionally, 15 dummy entries with 0 points were added to reduce competitive pressure. Here is the recorded video of the gamified therapy session. We conducted experiments with 33 participants. The experiment procedure was as follows. We measured the baseline stress level, and then we induced stress in the participants. And then we measured their stress level again. And they experienced the VR music therapy, and then we measured their stress level again. Finally, we conducted an interview. For stress inducement, we use the Stroop test, a widely used method for inducing stress in experiments. This test creates cognitive interference by displaying words in colors that do not match the color they denote. We measure the stress level of the participants using the STAI-X1 questionnaire. STAI-X1 assesses the current state of anxiety, which is closely related to the present level of stress. And here are the STAI-X1 results from the experiment. And here are the analysis results of the STAI-X1 data. For integral comparison, we conducted a Friedman test to examine differences in stress levels across the three stages. All three groups showed statistically significant differences across the three time points. For stage-specific analysis, we applied the Wilcoxon-signed rank test to assess significant changes in stress levels between stages. All groups showed significant difference between the first and second measurement, as well as between the second and third measurements. This suggests that both the stress induction and the stress reduction had a statistically significant impact on the participants' stress levels. For the integral comparison, we used the Kruskal-Wallis test to compare the second and third STAI-X1 results across groups. The analysis showed no significant differences in the stress reduction scores among the three groups. As a result, hypotheses H1 and 3 were accepted, which is via active music therapy effectively reduced stress, and gamified one is also effective, but the other were rejected. The interview question focused on three aspects. First, overall impression of the VR experience. Second, elements participants liked, and third, elements they disliked. Three researchers independently conducted the initial coding of the interview result, and the common keywords were compiled through consensus. And these are the compiled keyword result. Although all types of therapy effectively reduce stress, user experience varies significantly depending on the therapy type. In VR receptive music therapy, participants reported a negative user experience, often mentioning feelings of sleepiness and boredom. Due to the absence of active tasks, some users found their own ways to stay engaged, like watching the campfire 3D model in the background. In contrast, participants in VR active music therapy and VR gamified music therapy found the experience enjoyable. However, those in the gamified group were more sensitive to their performance and latency, while participants in the active group were more critical of the repetitiveness of the task compared to the game group. As this study represents one of the first attempts to implement gamified VR music therapy, we propose a guideline for gamifying VR music therapy based on our experimental findings. First, ranking systems should be avoided as they can negatively impact the user experience. Instead, incorporating cooperative elements can be better alternatives to satisfy latent needs desire in SCT. Second, enhancing visual cues for rhythmic tasks can help users with rhythm timing and improve the overall game feel. Finally, offering various levels of difficulty can accommodate a wider range of users and enhance engagement. This study has several limitations that can be addressed in future research. First, to better understand the long-term effects of VR music therapy, further studies should explore how gamification can encourage sustained engagement over time. Second, while the study measures stress level using the self-reported questionnaire, incorporating physiological measures such as heart rate variability or cortisol level could provide more precise stress assessments. Finally, the experiment was conducted with participants aged 23 to 33, limiting the diversity of the sample. Future research should also consider factors such as familiarity with VR and music activities when recruiting participants to ensure a broader range of perspectives. In this study, we went beyond traditional VR receptive music therapy by successfully implementing VR active music therapy and gamified therapy. We provide guidelines for implementing gamification in VR music therapy and laid the foundation for designing everyday VR applications aimed at stress reduction. Thank you for your listening.